and welcome back to the Altenew YouTube channel. This is Erica with you today, and today I thought we would take these two cards that I made during a Instagram live with my friend Brennan over on Brennan's Crafty Corner. The only thing that isn't Altenew on these is the cardstock. So I thought what I'd do is I'll remake these, but then what we're going to do is we are obviously not going to just remake these two. We're going to take this as inspiration, and then we're also going to add in some shimmer relief paste because I love this stuff. So the idea is essentially to kind of take the outlay of this card. So we're going to make a stripy background. We're going to chop that into half, and then instead of splattering a gold on the background, we are going to do like a smear of shimmer relief paste. So one in pearl and one in enchanted gold. And then we're going to probably use the Timeless Sentiments dies. Although I do love this one, the You Are Loved. So maybe we'll do that one. We will see. We'll take that later on. That's a decision not for right now. But I have got some cardstock that I think will match pretty well, and it's quite a fun and fresh sort of color scheme. So we're gonna go with some Lagoon, some Minty Mint, Limeade, Fresh Lemon, and Pink Diamond. This is kind of like a very summery, fresh color scheme, I think. There isn't any blue in this because I kind of feel like this is a very sort of, think like sprinkles on ice cream cones kind of color scheme, and it's very similar to the colors on this card or these cards. But then, you know, because we are going to want to add some textures and layers to this as well, of course. So I mean, our shimmer relief paste will take care of some of that, but we are going to use, for whatever word sentiment we use, whether it be this one from the Timeless Sentiment or we use the You Are Loved, we are going to use some glitter cardstock. So I've got citrine to match our enchanted gold and also moonstone to match our pearl. So we are going to get making and create some super duper fun glittery and shimmery cards. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of this cardstock into 1-inch strips using a trimmer. And then we are going to get gluing and die cutting the rest of the pieces. I might just prepare as much as I can off screen and then come back with the things that kind of explain how everything is going to be put together. But first things first, because we are using shimmer relief paste and this needs time to dry, we are going to do our backgrounds. So this part is, whilst this is a voiceover, so I have removed the audio, so you're not going to hear like this scraping on the paper and this and that. This is all in real time, and I have kept it like this because I wanted you to see just how easy it is to create like a textured background without like much fuss. And I will mention this in the blog post, that if you are planning on mailing these cards and you need to have them as flat as possible, because obviously the mail system is a little bit challenged when it comes to bulky cards, plus it costs more, just scrape this flat. It will still be gorgeous and shimmery. Now, this one is done with pearl, and we are going to move on to our second panel, which I'm going to do in enchanted gold, which is, as the name says, completely and utterly enchanting. And here I am going to be making a little bit more of a mess, I say, but I am going to kind of sculpt the background a little bit so that it's going to be really chunky. And the reason I'm doing it with this paste is because it's obviously easier to see it compared to the pearl. However, you can see here, I am just kind of, it's almost like spreading peanut butter. So we're just taking a big chunk of it, we are kind of slapping it down in different places, and this is to create all of that gorgeous kind of texture and, you know, funness. Now here I had a little bit left over and I thought, oh, shall we try and like spreading some of that onto the pearl, and I instantly regretted it. And then I did the rookie mistake of scraping off the excess onto the pot. So then I had to use that because I can't have pearl paste in my gold paste. So, you know, it just all turned into a bit of a mess. So I thought, you know what, we're just gonna start from scratch with another panel. So I scraped off the excess of the white and the pearl, sorry, the pearl and the gold mixed together. And then I just slapped a bunch more gold on top, enchanted gold. So we're going to leave these to dry and we're going to work on the stripes. So I have taken another 2 panels. These are A2 panels, so they are 4 1/4 times 5.5 inches. I'm going to cover them with some doubles or that extra sticky double-sided tape. Now this stuff is really great. And also you might notice that I've got the Altenew work mat as well. So we're going to use the grids to help us put these strips onto the background relatively straight. That was very difficult for me to say today. And the reason we are going to try to make them really straight is because it's very easy to kind of wear off a little bit, and then all of a sudden these strips are not going to look straight. The whole kind of design is going to wear off. Instead of being nice straight horizontal lines or vertical lines, you're going to get a little bit of a tilt look. So it is definitely worth taking your time putting these down. And I know it's a little bit scary putting strips of paper or cardstock onto a double sticky like tape, but deep breath, slow and steady hands, and we can do it. So this has been sped up ×2. So this is in double speed. So you can see it's relatively fast, but it's also not kind of just slapping them on and not worrying about what goes where. Then we're going to trim off the excess. We're going to keep those pieces. Don't throw those away. No. And we're going to move on to panel number 2. So we're going to put the tape onto the back or the front. I suppose it's the front really. And then we're going to remove the backing tape. We're going to do the same thing again, but this time we're going to do a different order of the strips. So this is the fun part when it comes to using colored cardstock and strips. Don't just kind of like do the same color order for every single one, unless of course you're doing like invitations and you want everything to look uniform. But if you're just kind of having a little bit of fun, like just play around a little bit and just see, you know, what works and what doesn't work. So here I was lucky enough that some of these leftover strips just about made it across on the second panel. Now I will have to trim it down a little bit, so we're gonna get that nice white frame around the back of the card, and then we are going to cut one of these into half, but not rectangular pieces. We're gonna cut at an angle so we get like a nice modern kind of look to our cards, and also because we want our shimmer relief paste background to stick out as much as possible. So here I have taken a really long time to cut. This is all again in real time. Yes, so you can see I'm questioning my life choices. Yes, but these are going to look great onto cards, and we are going to get the whole shebang going. With this one I am only going to trim off a little bit, and I think we're talking like an 1/8 of an inch or maybe 1/4 of an inch here. So not a lot, just enough to get a nice straight line. And I did take a little bit off the other side as well, so the first cut wasn't like a complete 1/4 of an inch or however much it was I was taking off. And on this one here as well, I am gonna chop off a little bit, which if you don't like one of the strips kind of being shorter than the others, which fair enough, it doesn't always look great, but if you prefer it to be full size, just leave the white strips on or bits onto the side and just carry on as normal. Now this is the fun part. We are going to take our backgrounds down with our gorgeous shimmer relief paste. We are going to have a little play around, and then we're going to bring out our sentiments as well. We're going to mix and match a little bit of those. Now I have actually not filmed that part of the making, so I have got some gorgeous sentiments done with the Timeless Sentiment die cut set, which is a total must-have. Now with the piece that you can see me chopping right there, I just kind of realized that it just wasn't quite straight, so I wanted just a little something extra on that one. So I thought, you know what, instead of having the two pieces exactly the same, I'm going to trim off a little bit so that I kind of get the white frame around the bottom of the stripe part as well, just to, you know, shift things up so that everything isn't the samey. Now look at this. Ooh! Okay, so these word die cuts have been done with the gorgeous glitter cardstock. So the white one is called Moonstone and the gold ones is called Citrine. And the reason I chose those two is because they coordinate so well with the Enchanted Gold Shimmer Relief Paste with some Citrine glitter cardstock and the amazing Moonstone glitter cardstock with that fabulous Pearl Shimmer Relief Paste. Oh, honestly, match made in heaven. Or in the craft room, maybe that's a better way of saying it. Now, we are going to puzzle around here a little bit and see like, oh, what works and what doesn't. And funnily enough, I normally never like mix and match sort of, well, I say never, but I very rarely mix and match colors on my sentiments. However, on this one, I was like, you know what? It kind of works. It kind of works. Yes, it does. Now, this fourth panel here, which is kind of like, that one was a bit of a, not a mistake, but it was a last minute decision, shall we say. I was like, you know what? We're not just going to slap on a sentiment on that one. No. We need to zhuzh it up a little bit. So we're going to add some of those strips. However, it didn't look quite right with the two short ones. So, and I didn't want to cut it down too much because, you know, the shimmer relief paste is like, oh, so amazing. So I thought, you know, and nobody will know if I glue two of these together. I mean, obviously you will, but you'll keep my secret, won't you? So I thought, whoa, this could be the way. This could be the way. So two of these, so the yellow and the sort of really minty green, I think that's the limeade color, are actually two shorter pieces, and we're going to adhere them together with a little bit of foam tape on the back, and nobody will be none the wiser. However, the plan was solid, but the sentiment wasn't big enough to cover the seams that we're going to show. So we're going to do a little swooparoo, and we're going to go with a thank you for this one. And then we're going to use the hello on our kind of more solid card base then. So with these ones, we are going to take our very, very skinny 1/8 of an inch thick. Is it 1/8? Yeah, it's 1/8 of an inch thick, and also the height is a width. So the width and the height is the same. Okay, don't listen to me, just do what I say. I know, I'm sorry. But on the back of these, we're going to add some instant dimension foam tapes. So the skinny one. If you don't care about the sizes, just look for the skinny one. And we're going to be a little bit careful. So we're gonna, you know, because we still want them to look straight. So we're going to be a little bit careful adding our foam tape so that the two pieces like kind of puzzle together perfectly. And I did add a little bit too much on the back of these, I'm not gonna lie. However, I think probably better with too much than not enough. So the last one is the two limeade pieces, and we're going to just quickly add the foam tape to these two as well. Then we can add these onto our background, which honestly, have you played with shimmer relief paste? It is so gorgeous. And I mean, it doesn't look sort of like super duper exciting here, right? However, when you put that to the sun, like or to the light, oh, it looks so gorgeous. It really does. Now, to make sure that we get these on straight and with about the same distance between them, I'm going to tape my front or my card panel down, and then we're going to puzzle first, and then we're going to commit. Yes. So I'm using my grid mat again to kind of make sure, okay, so we're about in the same kind of height and angle. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. And then we're gonna do the top and the bottom one first, so that we know that we have the space that we want, or the angle that we want. And then we're going to add the two ones in the middle. Now, there's probably an easier way of doing this, and there's probably a much faster way of doing it, but if you're a little bit of a lunatic like me, then this might be the way for you to do it too. However, if you have a better way, please do share. I'm always open to and learning. And this is where our sentiment is going to go, cover up those 2 seams in the front, and nobody will know. Except for you, of course. But yeah, it's going to be our crafty secret. And hopefully the thousands of other people that watch this, we're manifesting lots of views on this one. Yes. So we're going to do a little chop to trim off the excess, and these pieces will go into the bin. There is a time and a place to keep all of your scraps, but today I was like, nope, you know what? I have stretched these probably enough. Now we're going to add a bit of foam tape. Again, shocker, I know. Onto the back of some of these panels, and also onto our word dies, because dimensions and layers are life. And you know, it's fun. However, if you are mailing these, as I said in the beginning, you know, just, you can skip the foam tape. But if you're hand delivering, or if these are going to go in a box with like some yummy chocolates or something to your friend or whoever you're giving these cards to, yeah, go for the foam tape. Definitely go for the foam tape. Now, these cards are quite cute, right? And nice and shiny. So you will be completely shocked to hear that I decided in the end not to add any more like sparkles, no embellishments of any kind. I know. I promise this is not a cry for help. I am trying not to be quite such a one-trick pony with all the, you know, the over embellishment and bringing it to bling town and all of that. And you know, my catchphrase, bring the bling. However, I think with the shimmer relief paste and the gorgeous glitter cardstock, they're okay like they are, aren't they? Yeah, I know, and that's me saying it. Yikes, what's happening to me? Am I getting old? Maybe I am. But you know what? I'm quite proud of myself for not going crazy with the bling. But that is it from me for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon again. Bye for now.
Hello there. Did that video just spark your creativity? And do you want more project ideas and inspiration videos too? Well, if you do, please make sure that you subscribe to the Altenew YouTube channel. Also, make sure that you do click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.